Welcome to the Aisha Muhammad podcast. I am overjoyed that you have made the decision to join me and my special guest tonight. Before we start the live, please just take a listen. If I had told you at the beginning of this year that we would have been facing a pandemic by the name of COVID-19 that was going to turn this world upside down, you would have never believed it. The COVID Conquerors series on the Aisha Muhammad podcast. In this climate of fear, confusion, and suppression, I saw the need to create the COVID Conquerors podcast series. COVID Conquerors features phenomenal people who are, despite their challenges, thriving personally or in service to their community. COVID Conquerors airs live on Facebook and YouTube every other Thursday at 9 p.m. GMT, that's UK time, on the Aisha Muhammad podcast. This podcast aims to encourage, inspire, and empower you, to reassure you that in this time of uncertainty, should you look, you will see that there are great opportunities for you to thrive in aspects of your life, regardless to whom or what. It's time to start the live podcast where you'll meet this week's phenomenal guest. Let the countdown begin.
5, 4, 0.
Welcome to the Aisha Muhammad podcast. I'm so happy that you're here with us, and I have the phenomenal sister of mine here. Her name is Nayyirah Muhammad, and she's actually the Sister Emeritus Student MGC and GCC Captain in St. Petersburg, Florida, for the Nation of Islam, of which I am a registered member, and so is my sister here. And that was for Muhammad Mosque number 95. She does extensive work in the community. I'll just reel off some of the things that she does. She offers her training skills and talents as a life skills coach and a transformational speaker. And with divine guidance from the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan and using the technology of L. Ron Hubbard, she forges the way to happiness and success. Now, as a former 4-year NAACP president of the Youth Council, board member of Youth on the Move, a served prison ministry reform ministry member of the National Council of Negro Women, also, Sister Nayyirah, she counsels youth by speaking at high schools and girls' homes. She participates in interfaith dialogues with community faith organizations. Now, she is also the founder of the Repair of the Black Family, which is a non-profit foundation, and she travels nationally and internationally with her seminar, Repair of the Black Family. She's hosted women's conferences with guest speakers and national figures such as Sister Donna Farrakhan, Student Minister Ava Muhammad, and the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. She has received the designation of the first superpower clear sister completion in the Nation of Islam, along with the following distinguished awards and training. And I'm making a point of reading the bio because I think that these achievements are just so vast, you know, and of quality in your service to our people. So her distinguished awards and training is such as the Dianetics Gold Seal HGA Auditor, of which when we're speaking, sister, I know that you can expound on some of these things. Some of these words may be foreign to some of our listeners. And more President's Volunteer God Service Award, the Amanda Ambrose Soldier of the Heart Award, 2020 Plan Task Force Spokesperson Award, Teen Mom Award, 2019 Women's Impact Awards, and I remember that one, and the NAACP Parent Community Award. So above all, Sister Nayyirah Muhammad, she makes heaven on earth for her husband of 22 years, Brother David Muhammad. So I've just introduced to you this phenomenal guest. How are you doing, my sister?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on your beautiful podcast. I'm excited. You know, look, we international, girl. We all over in the UK right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Praise be to Allah. I'm so excited, you know, to be able to, you know, share and whatever Allah will use me for to help us, especially during this time. And you know, your segment, the COVID Conquerors, is so needed during this time and wanted during this time, you know, because so many of us are focusing on what we can't have during this kind of time versus what we can have during this time. So thank you so much for your beautiful time, attention, dedication, the upliftment, and the knowledge and well-being of our people.
Thank you. Praise be to Allah. Okay, I'm going to lead in with the questions, because when you're establishing and co-creating things, I know that you are one who is teaching manifestation currently, and you know, creating things is all a part of the process. So what is the key life event that led you to your decision to create Repair of the Black Family?
Oh, wow. Well, before I even knew that it was going to be, you know, divinely inspired to actually be coined in the phase of Repair of the Black Family, the life-changing event for me was the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, just coming into the Nation of Islam, learning the knowledge of myself, the knowledge of God, you know, the knowledge of the enemy, and the time and what must be done. And being that, you know, Allah chose me to come, you know, and be a part of such a great assignment, which is truly helping us in the resurrection process, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, helping us. I was blessed to be able to be coach, that's appointed to be, but serve in the Nation of Islam, you know, in the MGT, in the Muslim Girls Training Department. And to me, that was like one of the greatest rewards that God could have ever chose me for, to be able to not just learn about myself, learn how to love myself, but learn how to love women in particular. You know, so the cornerstone of any family is the woman. So I, you know, journeyed on that process to love myself, to love other women, praise be to Allah, in particular the Black woman. That's where the birthing process began. However, when it came to this, you know, the Repair of the Black Family, that title for me came in 2016 when I was invited to go speak in Harlem. And I wanted to, since I was going to Harlem, where the Black Renaissance, you know, I wanted to be able to speak to our people, to our culture. So what better, you know, what better topic, the Repair of the Black Family. So that's how it came about. And from there, it just gave birth to a whole new reality for myself, my family, my community, our nation, our people across the world. And I want to say this as I close that off. You know, when you hear the repair of the, we truly understand, it is our motto that the Repair of the Black Family is dealing with the essence in which all color comes from. So when you repair the Black family, you repair humanity. So this is a humanitarian work by God's permission.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's awesome insight. Thank you. So another question, I remember when I read the bio, it actually ended off in regards to being married for 22 years, which is a very big achievement in a world such as this. And in watching you, I come to the understanding that, you know, you work as a team. So what are the benefits of working or building your foundation, Repair of the Black Family, with the support of your husband? And how important, I'm going to add on a little, how important is that in the building of a nation for husband and wife to work together?
Oh, absolutely. Well, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us where there is no family, there is no nation. So for myself, being married for 22 years, and I'm not just married, I want to note on this, I am happily married, and I'm growing in love with my husband every single day by a live permission. And that's really important to the key of the Black family, because we come from a broken family. We've been broken as a people, broken as a family, and coming up through my childhood where my mother and father was divorced, that played a part in my breaking process. So, and then also getting married, because this is not my first marriage, this is my second marriage, and having my first marriage and having that experience, of being 11 years in a relationship and being married and having to come out of that marriage and to start all over. So when you're talking about putting together a family unit, a family structure, helping our people, we need good examples of marriage, not just marriage, because anybody can tie the knot, say, right, sign that paperwork, put that contract in. But when it comes to really building, right, we're building together. When it comes to teamwork, which makes the dream work, which is to have the ideal family, for us, it's truly what we intentionally strive to be, which means we're constantly working at creating marriage, create the idea of, yes, it's us, yes, it's for our family, but it's for the culture. We need happy marriages. And I think a lot of Minister Louis Farrakhan and Mother Khadijah, because they set the perfect example, which gives the Black people something to strive for. So I'm striving, and we're striving to have that oneness with each other and be an example of what God can do for us as a people. Truly can, because marriage is not paraded around as being happy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
You hear our culture when it comes to music, when it comes to TV, when it comes to how we operate, because we're broken people, it doesn't glorify marriage. It's really being married. So if I can contribute anything to this world's life, is to be an example of a Black woman that's confident in who she is as herself, that's God's co-creator with God, but also being a wife that can help her husband be one with Allah. And now we have strong family, which produce a strong nation, which will create nations. All praises due to Allah.
Yes, that's the aim. An objective. Yes, ma'am. Now, I've had the pleasure.
It's really important.
It is. It's vital. It's core. If you don't have a strong family, you cannot have a strong community, and you definitely cannot have a strong nation. And as a people, we've got so many wounds, so many bad experiences, so many traumas that we have been through, and these jump up and interrupt our ability to live a fulfilled life whereby we are fully present and we can really appreciate the people that are in our lives, communicate in the way that we need to in order to be properly understood and to have that affinity and to grow together. We can't have that so long as we carry a lot of the burden and a lot of the trauma that we have, generational trauma, which is something that you speak about a lot, and also are gifted in healing generational trauma. So can you tell us some more about that?
Absolutely. First and foremost, in order to participate in any type of healing and effective healing in anyone else, you have to be willing to go through that process of yourself, So yes, I say, I specialize in generational healing, generational trauma, generational patterns, because I understand the breaking process and what we've gone through as a people, what we've gone through as a culture, but more so what we've gone through as a family unit and as an individual. So I first had process that will truly eliminate and help me to release the things that I've gone through in my life, the things that my mother has gone through in her life, my grandmother has gone through in her life, even on my father's side. And it was because of the knowledge of myself, the knowledge of my family. I ain't just talking about in history. I'm talking about what has my mother been through? What did my grandmother go through? What did be here? What did my daddy go through? What they go through in their lives? How did they arrive to point? How did they arrive to this point? You understand that actually my thinking process, my behaviors, because there's a lot of times we do things, we think we're doing it of ourselves, but we're not. It even tells us that be careful, the sins of the mothers and fathers shall be visited upon the children. So it may skip the mother, but it goes right down to the child. So for myself, I had to go through a process. One, with the knowledge of self, the knowledge of God, the enemy, the knowledge of the time and what must. Then I thank Allah. I thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who gave us a technology, right, called DICE. It's the modern science to mental health. To take that technology and go through, first learn the process, and go through the process. And as I went through this therapy to deal with my mind, to deal with the deviation on a cellular level, I began to release the generational patterns of trauma, of all of the different things that makes us irrational. It was in myself, but I learned that it wasn't just me. I went through it. So when I was able to go through that now, thank not only did I help myself and I continue to help myself to heal, I can help people to heal, not just from experience, but I'm trained.
Yes.
You see, I'm trained to help people to overcome generational traumas and patterns, which is needed. It's so needed because a lot of times, sis, we only look at the surface level of our healing, but we got to go deeper now. We got to be willing to face and be willing to experience what it's going to take for us to truly heal and become holistic again as a functioning God.
I feel you, most definitely. And I think this time of quarantine, lockdown, this pandemic, some people call it a plandemic, but you know, in this situation that we are having to weather, it's become clear to many that it is a time that we have to kind of be still and take stock of where we are in life, who we are in life, and really be willing to confront, you know, the pain that we are still carrying, that we carry every day. You know, try to heal family relationships, breakdowns. For instance, a significant relationship that I have been blessed to be making strides to mend is that with my own father. I did not grow up with him in my life. And as we know, as women, it really is very important for you to have that first relationship with your father in regards to what to expect when you're older and you're in a relationship or in a marriage. This is often where you may find that things come up, or there's just things that you just don't know because you never had that experience and you've been, you know, ill affected by it, by just not having that good example, because some people have their fathers there and they're not necessarily a good example, but not, you know, seeing that or having that relationship with your father or even a stepfather kind of robs you of something. It can create issues. So I found that it's been a time of deep reflection and a time to really just look at the sides of self that just need that further development. You know, it's kind of like a life assessment, and to just decide what is it you really want in this life, what are you prepared to do, and to start to put in the work. because we cannot get to that other side to reveal the true us until we commit and decide to do that work. So thank you. So what
Absolutely.
major
And thank you
achievements,
for that.
sorry, I thought you were saying something.
I'm
So
sorry, what you say?
what are the major achievements that you've seen? You work with a lot of women, so what's the major achievements that you have seen with serving the community since the start of this pandemic? Because it's brought up a lot for people. A lot of people are, they're going through a lot of hardship, job losses, losing loved ones, feeling lost. Some people having to be isolated due to being vulnerable. A lot of things have, come up for people. So in working with largely women during the pandemic through Repair of the Black Family, what major achievements would you say that have been made?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm with you. Well, this pandemic brought in a lot of, I would say, learning lessons for those who are willing to tap into that aspect of, that this is a pestilence from God. And so, what is allow God trying to show us as the world, but in particular, which is my focus, right? What is he trying to show us spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically? That there's some levels of sicknesses that we have to be able and willing to confront to heal. So when it comes for me and the type of work that I do, what I found is or major achievements is being able to get us to look at this pandemic from a spiritual and mental and emotional level to handle the physical levels, getting women to do healing, that self-healing, healing of the mind, healing of the relationship with God, healing of going internally or externally, ways of different areas of we just, because we were so busy, we didn't have the opportunity to look into thy own self. So major achievement, when I look at the major achievement, is the helping women and the family with the ability of communication, to speak into those areas of our lives that we have been able to speak into, speaking our own healing into existence. We've been so conditioned as a people that we actually, because of the way we've been shaped and the way life was just moving before this pandemic, we actually was speaking some forms of life some forms of death into our life. I'm just sick and tired. All of these different little mantras that we say. So to help us as a people, help us as a culture, but in particular the women, help us to transition our thought patterns, transition our words, because there's so much power in the tongue, getting us to understand and tap into our own power to use power to come up through this sickness that's plaguing the planet right now, starting from spiritual healing, mental healing, emotional healing, which ultimately brings about a physical healing.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So it's been to reconnect us back to that divine source, that divine power, reconnect back into the spaces you spoke about, the Father, sis, and I just want to take us back there a little bit, if that's okay with you. And not being able to have a relationship, especially as women, with our fathers, because that's really important to the sanity of a woman, and being able to heal in that space. And just using my own personal example of coming up into a household where I experienced, my father, may Allah be pleased with him, and he's still my hero to this day. I still, though he's not here anymore physically, he's passed on, transitioned on, but the situation, which was not my father, was the circumstances of him being on alcohol, drugs, and abusive to my mother. but I was still able to see the Godfather. You understand? He still presented love to me, that I learned how to know what God looked like in a black man, even beyond his conditions. God is still present, like man, and that's what I thank my Father for, because he was able to still show me that love that I needed as a little girl coming up. Though he had all of these, I still was able to experience God in him. You see, so when it comes to a woman maybe not having her relationship with her father or things like that, but if we know God, we know Allah, we know what that love looks like, and we can tap into that love, then you could tap into any man. You could tap into man beyond his condition, because we know what God looks like. We know what he feels like. We understand we are connected with him. Then then and only then, if we have a relationship with Allah, we can tap into that God in that man and have the proper relationship with that man, because we understand the God in him.
Wow. Powerful. Powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
We just have to the yes, absolutely.
Okay. So I know that you are very much into doing for self, as we are taught that we must do for self or suffer the consequences. So I wanted you to just tell us about the products and the services that you provide, and also the events, because I understand that you have an event that is happening in January for us women. I'll hand it over to you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Well, let's just deal with it from a physical standpoint. You know, one of the things that's as a people that we really have to focus in on is our immune system. Understanding the immune system. Okay. And understanding, let's look at from a spiritual and mental and emotional standpoint, especially when we're dealing with COVID. Your thoughts can attack your immune system. It can weaken the immune system. Okay. Spirituality, all of these things can weaken. Stress can weaken the immune system. So we're going to avoid these vaccinations that this country, this enemy is putting out for us. We are targeted. So we're going to avoid these vaccinations. We have to be on building our immune system. Start spiritually, it starts mentally. We have to enhance it spiritually, enhance it mentally, enhance it emotionally, intentionally, being healthy in our thoughts, healthy in our spirituality, de-stressing ourselves daily, so that now we can build our immune system. That's how we do it spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Then we focus in on the physical. Okay, so eating right, eating properly, resting properly, right? All of these things is very key. So when it comes to my family or our foundation and what we provide things that will enhance the mineral content of the body, right? Many of us are suffering for, or should I say, we have the lack of mineral content. So we provide CMOS, which is 102 trace minerals, okay? Which is really important for the immune system. It helps to eliminate mucus. It helps to fight off radiation. It helps to build iron. It helps with thyroid. It just helps so much. It gives you a full and complete with trace minerals. This is what we provide. So I highly recommend the navy bean as well, right? Then also we provide elderberry, okay? Yes, we provide elderberry. We provide natural herbs and teas, okay? All of these things that will help with the building of the immune system, but also correct things that's in the body. Remember this, the COVID-19 is such a major problem in the Black community because we already have underlying conditions. So not only do we have to focus in on building the immune system, but also correcting things that's in the body. So that now we can have a stronger immune system. The body is already in correction mode because the body will heal itself. But again, it comes back to spiritual, mental, emotional, and then the body will naturally begin to correct itself physically, and we have to properly nourish the body. So those are things that we provide from the Repair of the Black Family. In addition, when it comes to the women and the upcoming event, I'm totally elated. I am totally elated because we are calling for 1,000 women to create, listen, 1,000 miracles,
1,000.
releasing unmatched pain, right? Generational patterns, things keep us out of context with God. You see, coming together, creating a healing space. We're in the need of healing right now. And when you can have us to come together, now we step into femininity. We come back into that space of being co-creator with God. That's the power of the feminine qualities that we will be able to bring forth more. Because most time we live on that masculine side. Then we are able is the key word here, to move into and bring forth, show up in that feminine space, because we are in need of a deeper form of healing. So with that being said, coming together in a collective space can create and generate energy that will create and affect healing with the Black woman. Is the space that we are going to, or that has been created for us to be signed, sealed, and delivered. Power of femininity. JT20.
I think you're breaking up, sis.
Can you hear me?
I think you just give the details again for the event.
Great. Did you hear what I
said? Give the details of the title of the event.
Yes. So so it's Power 2020. I'm sorry, January 9th, 2020, virtual sanctuary. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. My husband's correct. 2021, January 2021. Yeah. And the virtual sanctuary. Exactly. Power of femininity. So you can go to www.repairoftheblackfamily.com. Sign up today. 1,000 is for us. We create healing.
Yeah, I did attend the first one because you did have one, and it was a brilliant experience. I actually came not knowing what to expect, to be honest, and I showed up, and from the get-go, it's like the healing process had started. It was very real, and it was beautiful to have that space, and feel free to be able to just be and heal and to learn from other sisters as they share, what they had been going through, and to uplift one another, So it was high vibration, and it was very insightful, a very loving and kind environment to be in. So I would encourage you, sisters, to definitely go to repairoftheblackfamily.com and to register. It's just a very minimum donation to make. So go ahead and do that. And love yourself. It's through action, not just word action. So show yourself some love. So in addition to that, I know that you also provide some services, because you're a woman of many gifts and talents, and one of them is life coaching. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and just some of the other things that you offer by way of services in helping to uplift and repair the Black family?
Absolutely. So yes, we do. I do provide life coaching. And with that, we definitely strive to meet a person where they are, and help them to look at life from a perspective that will promote and facilitate healing, promote and facilitate self-awareness, so that one can be, no matter where you are, that you can go to that next level of your greatest self, right? So life coaching, also mental health therapy, especially during this time with the COVID-19, and understanding the sanctuary of the mind that we must have in order to survive this. Family, in order for us to survive this COVID-19, we are going to have a awareness of our mental abilities and how to get through this thing mentally. And so, and mental health is a really important part. So I have mental health therapy. And even if one don't receive the mental health therapy, the life coaching itself will strengthen the mind enough to be able to withstand what we're going through, to be a conqueror during this time when it comes to the COVID-19. So mental health therapy, my husband and I, we provide life coaching when it comes to marriages. You know, sometimes we just need an extra help. We need some coaching when it comes to that. So we provide classes on Tuesday nights on how to communicate. We're doing effective communication right now because especially during this time, we need to learn how to actively communicate. So every Tuesday night, we provide these trainings on how to take the technology and use the technology, so that when I say technology, I mean mind technology, different tools that we can put into place so we can survive in the same household together. Because many of us, we in a household with each other, and we don't really know each other, because life has just taken us all so far. And now that we got to be in these chambers, we got to not just to exist in the household with each other, but coexist, and how to be effective at it and create love, and also repair some spaces that we didn't have time to look at. So yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for allowing me to share that, because I have a passion, and we have a passion for truly family.
Praise be to Allah. You're most welcome. You know, this is what COVID Conquerors is all about. This is the beauty of it. You know, I've done some episodes and I've come off feeling just so elated, because you know, when you're doing these interviews, it's just providing a space for people to be able to come and just tell of, you know, their heart, really, you know, what they're doing, why they're doing it, who they've been able to help, words of encouragement, and you can just feel the vibe knowing that God is present. And that is what people really need to feel and come to acknowledge, come to recognize, is that, you know, God is present. He's present and he's with us. And when we can hold on to that and make that really real for us, then that is something that's going to help us to get through, you know, what is to come further down the line in this time of uncertainty that we are facing. So, you know, share by all means. That is what this podcast is really about. It's about touching the hearts of people, comforting them, letting them know that there is hope, that there is opportunity, that they are not alone in this time. Because some of us really can, you know, brave face it, you know, but in the quietness, when, you know, we are by ourselves, that is when sometimes, you know, people can struggle, you know, with their thoughts, with their feelings, and seeing these, you know, changes in their environment and not really knowing what to expect, never having seen anything like this kind of climate before, is very real for some people who may be finding it hard to cope. And this is really who this is for, you know. This podcast, COVID Conquerors, is for those who may struggle, even those who consider themselves strong, but know that there's moments where they struggle. You know, I aim for this to be a pick-me-up so that they can continue on and also know who to go to in order to receive services, you know, resources, that help that they need at this time. So, any encouraging words? I mean, you've given us plenty.
Yes, ma'am. And I see this, what I'm experiencing here with you right now, and this is a survival route, right? When the slaves had to go free, couldn't go free on the same route. Okay. So during this time, I see the conductors that's helping us to navigate during this time to our freedom. Our free, it's a survival route. How do we reach? Where do I go to find light? You're like one of
That's
the
right.
conductors to show us, okay, you can go this way, or you can go this way, or you can go that way. So what you're doing is really important when it comes to freedom,
Yes, ma'am.
equality, and how do we survive?
That's right.
Survival. How do we survive this COVID-19? It's going to take different routes. Everything is not going to work for everybody.
That's
You
right.
understand? So if we have different routes that we can take, our freedom, our sanity, because that's what we're fighting for. When I look
That's
at
it.
this COVID-19, I'm looking at how do we with sanely, we're fighting for our sanity right now. We are at war, and we're warring for the hearts and minds of our people for survival. So thank you for providing a space that I can be one of the routes. We, my husband and I, the Repair Black family, could be one of the routes that our people will take to be able to achieve a way of healing mentally, spiritually, physically during this time, because it's going to take all of us uniting together to be able to confront and conquer this COVID-19. So thank you for providing the routes out for all of us.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. So, any final encouraging words, sister, for our people? I think that we're quite lucky in the fact that we have a foundation that maybe has partly, at least, prepared us for this time that we've entered into. There are some with none, what's happening is totally a surprise to them. And they're not really knowing which way to turn. They're expecting things to go back to so-called normal. They may even be thinking about taking this so-called vaccine. I mean, because right now in the United Kingdom, we are on a lockdown and we're on a tier system. And there are many people who are suffering from not being able to spend time with loved ones because they may be vulnerable, etc. I'm actually in that category. My mom's vulnerable, and therefore I'm not able to spend as much time with her as I would desire at this time. So I know there are many people who are suffering different, circumstances. And as I said, they don't have the foundation to ever have thought that something like this would have happened. So what would you say to them?
I will say this. It has been said that God sends saviors. And right now, the world is looking for a savior. And right now, there's a savior that's amongst us. And it is the Honorable Minister. I would say, go back to our fourth message. I would say we got to keep looking to the North Star, the light. Minister Farrakhan is that light in the midst of darkness. I would say, attach yourselves to those of us that's borrowing from his light to be able to shine forth more light. Because God said that he will send saviors after them. The saviors are here on the planet. All you have to do is listen, your mind and your spirit, because scripture says, my children will know my voice. Listen to the voice of God, and you will be guided aright. You will be guided aright. But when you're looking for that, however, or in addition to, look for the North Star, which is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm just one of the ones, just one, as you are, Sister Aisha. We're just one of the ones that's trying to borrow from his light to reflect the light so that our people continue to heal, that our people will be safe during this time. Farrakhan will get us across the other side. safely. You got to keep tuning in to that man. And as those of us that's charged with the responsibility of being a savior, we are the true Salvation Army. We are the savior for our peoples. So look for the nearest Mind Study group and tune into the webcasts and tune into spaces like this with podcast. Find out what's the latest updates. This is Dr. Ava and all of us that's out here trying to spread this light in the midst of this darkness. Because God's people are being called forward. So that's what I have to offer, that God will send saviors and we exist. Because I'm going to count myself in the number. When it's marching in, I just want to be one in the number. Okay? So, Sister Aisha, you being one in the number, we got to keep qualifying ourselves to be one in number. Okay? So I would say that for all of us. Just keep tuning in, tapping in, and tuning into much as you possibly can. And I want to leave this plug right here. The 7th Region Coalition, COVID-19 Coalition, is doing work to be one of those saviors, a coalition of people that spread a light on how to survive during this time. So tune in to the 7th Region Coalition Facebook page. And we're doing everything we can to keep our people in general, humanity, abreast of how to survive this COVID-19.
Thank you so much for those words. I couldn't have said it better myself. We must keep our eye on the man of the hour, you know, God's mouthpiece, which is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So yes, ma'am, thank you. Thank you so much. Now, where can we find you on social media if we want to keep in contact with you and your content, words of encouragement, products, events, etc.?
Yes, ma'am. So Instagram is sister_Nayyirah. Name is on the screen. sister_Nayyirah. And then on what is it? Facebook is Nayyirah Tavika Muhammad. Nayyirah Tavika Muhammad. That's on Facebook. And then my web page is www.repairoftheblackfamily.com. So you can find me there. And definitely, if you want to hear more about COVID-19, please tune into the 7th Region Coalition. I am a part of that coalition. I represent the mental health aspect of that coalition. So definitely, you want to also tune into that Facebook page as well. Okay?
Awesome. Awesome. That's absolutely fabulous. And I'll be posting that information on the Aisha Muhammad podcast page as well, so that you can find it there for you. Check out their Facebook page as well. They've been doing a lot of work. You'll be able to scroll up and, you know, see all of the different subject matters that they have covered. And, you know, there's a lot of information out there that is global. You know, one thing that I am very much aware of is that, you know, we are one people, you know, and we are one nation. So wherever something is happening, you know, we can all tap in. You know, it's relevant, it resonates, like it's yours, you know. So get in and get the information so that you can equip yourself with what you need at this time. So it looks like we've come to the end of this interview, and I have thoroughly enjoyed, and I thank you so much for coming in and sharing all that you have with us and for the work that you do. You are a fearless warrior, and I know that your hero is Harriet Tubman herself. And you know, I can only just encourage you to keep on, knowing that opposition most definitely will come, and that there is a difficulty factor attached to everything of value, and this work of salvation in trying to save our people who are extremely valuable in the eyes of God. So just keep on keeping on, sister, with everything that you are doing. And I pray that Allah protects you and that He guides you on this mission that you have decided to take on, and do for the glory of Allah Himself and His messengers, man in our midst, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. all of that. So thank you. It's been a real pleasure. A real pleasure. So,
Thank you so
sister, you
much.
take care.
Maybe bless you more with the program.
Say that again, sis. I didn't hear you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Well,
I say maybe bless you more with your program.
Thank you.
Program and triple and bless you with a dose of of his spirit and expand your podcast globally across the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sister. And to all the replay viewers that come back, Walaikum Salam, all of the replay viewers that come on, please just hashtag replay, share this broadcast far and wide with all those that you know it will help. Always a pleasure to be here. Catch me again in a fortnight. It is going to be the 24th, which is so-called Christmas Eve, but I'll still be popping up with another guest for you here on the Aisha Muhammad podcast, COVID Conquerors series. You take care now. Peace.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam.